At my cousin's engagement party, I stood up to give a toast. Just a simple, glad to be part of this. I meant it, too. But my aunt didn't even blink before cutting in with, "You weren't. We added you last minute." No emotion. Just flat, like she was talking about the weather. My sister didn't waste the opportunity either. She leaned in close, wearing that smug half-smile of hers, and whispered, "Try not to mess it up, like always." I didn't say a word. Just smiled, quietly, the kind you give when you're used to being the butt of the joke. Then I bent down, picked up the gift I'd brought, the one that cost me $5,000, and walked away. On my way out, I pulled out my phone and canceled the credit card I had on file for the venue. Exactly 20 minutes later, everything went dark. The lights cut off, the music stopped mid-beat, and my phone started blowing up like it owed money. 130 missed calls. Just like that, I became the center of the event without saying another word. That one line, "You weren't. We added you last minute," kept looping in my head. My aunt had said it so casually, like I didn't just spend thousands on a gift for this very night. She raised her champagne glass, clinked it against her husband's, and looked right past me like I was invisible. Like acknowledging me too much might somehow lower the temperature of her picture-perfect evening. I smiled again. Quiet, restrained. The kind that hides decades of swallowed pride. My sister didn't miss a beat. Same tone, same attitude. "Try not to ruin it like you always do," she said, just loud enough for me and no one else. Around us, the party hummed along with that elegant, practiced rhythm, soft laughter, polished smiles, clinking flutes, and glittering chandeliers. The kind of setting where everyone pretends life is beautiful and nobody ever needs help. Everything was staged. Candlelight on crisp white linens. Designer dresses. Bite-sized appetizers made to look like art. It wasn't a celebration, it was a performance. And the family? They were the cast. Perfectly trained. Always camera ready. Except for me. I was the weak link in the production, the part they kept out of frame. In the middle of it all, Lena, my cousin, stood glowing in her white dress. The kind of dress that probably cost more than my rent. Her fiancé, Miles, had one arm wrapped around her waist, a whiskey in the other, looking like he belonged on the cover of a lifestyle magazine for people who've never had to work overtime in retail. Lena had always treated me kindly enough. Polite. Smiling. But only at surface level. Just enough warmth to pass for affection. A few "we should catch up sometime" here and there, mostly right after she borrowed money I never saw again. This night? It was supposed to be hers. I came ready to celebrate that. Honestly, I did. When I stood up to toast, glad to be part of this, my voice didn't shake. Even then, I was steady. But standing there, seconds later, all I could do was hold that frozen smile as they casually shoved me out of the spotlight, like I'd never been part of their story at all. Like the years I spent quietly helping, giving, sacrificing, were just erased. I took a step back from the group. Then another. Nobody noticed. They were too busy taking selfies. Posting #FamilyFirst on stories I wasn't tagged in, pretending I'd never really been part of the frame. So, I made a choice. I leaned down, picked up the gift wrapped beautifully, tied with a ribbon, receipt tucked inside showing just how much I spent, and walked. No speech. No dramatic exit. Just one simple, quiet move. Out the side door, into the night air. I pulled out my phone and canceled the card that was still tied to the venue. The same card I'd offered as a favor when my uncles had been flagged just days earlier. 20 minutes later? Lights out. Music gone. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree doused in gasoline. 130 missed calls. That's when the real party began. First one to call? My mom. "Sweetheart, I think there's been some kind of mix-up with the..." I ended the call before she could finish. She didn't call back. But the rest of them did. Fast. Lena's fiancé. The event coordinator. My cousin Eli, who only texts me when he's broke. Even Uncle Theo chimed in, the guy who'd spent the night drinking and telling jokes that hadn't been funny since the 80s. The messages started out confused, then anxious. Then came the accusations. What is wrong with you? You're ruining everything. You've always been unstable. Oh, now I was unstable? Classic. Funny how fast they forgot who covered the venue cost to begin with. Whose name was on the invoice? Who always showed up when someone needed something? They never treated me like family. I was just a utility. A backup plan. A credit card with a pulse. And me? I kept the receipts. Literally. An hour later, the venue sent me an email: payment failed. Please provide a valid card or the event will be LE'd as cancelled. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop. Inside a folder titled Family Charade, I had 5 years' worth of screenshots of Venmo requests, bank transfers, late-night WhatsApp messages begging for help. From them. Always them. $1,500 for Chloe's dental bills. $3,200 to Dad after another one of his brilliant investments went sideways. $500 every month for a year to my aunt just until her disability check came in. Even the ring Lena was showing off tonight? She bought it with a loan from me. I recognized the diamond. I paid for it. No one ever paid me back. No one ever thanked me. But they always remembered when they needed me to open my wallet. Never remembered me for the pictures. Or the speeches. Or the Instagram posts. And the worst part? I let it happen. I played the loyal cousin. The ghost holding up the family illusion. I planned parties. Paid deposits. Bought plane tickets. Covered blow-ups. Smoothed over drama. I even gave Chloe, my own sister, access to my emergency credit card. That was a year ago. 2 months after that, I found a $9,000 spa charge from a retreat in Napa Valley. A healing weekend. When I called her out, she cried. Said she was depressed. Said she needed it. And if I took it away, I was the monster. So I swallowed that, too. She's the same one who looked me in the eye tonight and said, "Try not to ruin it like always." Funny thing is, I don't remember ruining anything. Just footing the bill. But that wasn't even the worst part. The real hit came the next morning. Someone had uploaded a photo to Facebook, a big group shot from the party. There was Lena and Miles, all smiles. Surrounding them were friends and family grinning like they were born into champagne and curated playlists. The caption, courtesy of Aunt Nora, read, "Huge thanks to everyone who made last night happen. Real family always shows up. Not a single mention of me. Not even a tag. But buried in the comments? That's where the real story lived." Chloe chimed in with, "So glad we handled everything ourselves. Can't depend on chaos." Then Eli added his 2 cents, "Fr. That guy just lives for drama." Nora, not one to miss a dig, replied, "Last-minute guests always ruin the vibe." They weren't even trying to hide it. They were talking about me. No metaphors. No vagueness. Just open season. What they didn't realize? I was ready. I had been for a while. See, a while back Chloe borrowed my laptop and forgot to log out of her email. I didn't go looking for anything, not at first. But 2 weeks later, I got a security alert. Someone tried to use my PayPal. Her name autofilled in the login. So I checked. That's when I found it. A draft email. Never sent. Probably forgotten. The subject line? Backup plan if he freaks out. Inside was a full spreadsheet breakdown of the party costs. Venue? $17,000. My card. Flowers, cake, music? Also on me. And this line, right at the bottom, in my sister's words. If he acts weird or pulls out, we'll say he insisted. Frame it like a surprise. No one will blame us. It was dated 3 weeks before the party. Their little insurance policy. Just in case I decided to grow a backbone. Well, I had. And now I had evidence. But I didn't post anything right away. No, I wanted them to feel safe. Comfy. Let them relax for just a little while longer. Then I stumbled on something even worse. Buried deep in a WhatsApp backup on an old phone I used to lend Chloe was a voice file, labeled "He's losing it." I tapped play. And my blood went cold. It was me, or at least, it sounded like me. My voice, chopped up, stitched together from old voicemails and random calls. Spliced into a mess of yelling and phrases I never said. I sounded unhinged. They were preparing for a narrative. A backup version of me, one they could whip out like a fire extinguisher. Look, he's unstable. He's always been like this. Just enough to make themselves look like victims while they took my money and used my name. This wasn't just betrayal. It was calculated. Intentional. That night, I sent out an email. No subject line. One sentence. You might want to talk to your daughter before the video goes public. I CC'd Aunt Nora, Uncle Theo, and Lena. Then I waited. Within 20 minutes? 19 missed calls. I didn't answer. I was already editing the video. The engagement brunch had been rescheduled for the following Saturday. Same venue. Different card. This time, I wasn't invited. Didn't matter. I RSVP'd myself through the event coordinator. Still had admin access. Still had control. 15 minutes before the toast, I walked in. Black blazer. Calm expression. Flash drive in my pocket. One objective. The moment they saw me, the whole room paused. Like I was a ghost crashing my own funeral. Chloe dropped her mimosa. Aunt Nora blinked like she was trying to erase me by sheer force of will. Lena looked nervous. Miles looked lost. Perfect. The coordinator came over, asked if I was there to deliver something. I smiled and said, nope. Just here to add a little something to the playlist. She hesitated but gave a polite nod. 10 minutes later, just as Lena raised her glass for her toast, the screen behind her flickered to life. Mind if we get a quick video from the family? I said, loud enough to cut through the hum of conversation. Heads turned. Glasses stilled. Forks paused mid-air. The video began, no sound at first. Just screenshots. Venmo transactions. Zelle transfers. My bank app $1,200 labeled Save Us. $2,000 for the venue. $500 for Chloe's dental work. My money. My name. My receipts. The soft laughter in the room died off. The clinking stopped. A cough echoed somewhere near the back. Then came the audio. Chloe, if he freaks out, we'll say he insisted. He's good at looking desperate. People believe it. Nora, well, he owes us. He wouldn't have that job if it weren't for the family. Lena, he'll probably show up with some sad little gift like it matters. And finally, a clip of me from last week walking out of the engagement party with the gift they forgot I brought. Cut to black. A single line appeared on screen. This is what it looks like when you use someone until he stops being silent. I turned around. Chloe's face was burning. Not embarrassed, furious. Her hand was trembling like she wanted to throw something but couldn't decide what. You're completely out of line, she snapped. This was supposed to be my day. Oh, it still is, I replied, calm as ever. You're just not the main character anymore. Lena looked frozen, lips parted, like her script ended 5 lines ago. Miles stepped forward. Wait, this isn't real, right? I reached into my pocket, pulled out the flash drive. Ask Chloe about the email she drafted, I said. The backup plan if I freak out one. Chloe lunged toward me. Too slow. I handed the drive to Miles. Check it yourself. I'm not here to fight. I'm just here to finish this. Right on cue, my mother showed up. Hair perfect. Voice shaking. Please, she said, trying to pull me aside. Let's just talk. I looked at her, mascara already smeared, even before the tears. And for the first time in my life, I said the words I never thought I'd say. I don't owe you anything. Not money. Not silence. Then came my father. He wasn't supposed to be there. Always said engagements were pointless, that love didn't need a spotlight. But he came anyway, like some internal alarm went off because I finally stopped playing the obedient one. You're a disgrace to this family, he growled. You've embarrassed us all. I looked him dead in the eye. No. You've been embarrassing me for years. All I did was press play. And just like that, the room cracked. Guests stood. Some walked out. Others stayed frozen in place, watching it all unfold like a live betrayal special. Phones were out. I knew at least one was recording. Good. Let them. Let the world see what happens when you back the quiet one into a corner too many times. Lena tried to salvage it. She stood up, hands raised like she could physically smooth the chaos. Okay, maybe there were miscommunications, she said, voice trembling. But this isn't the time. Is this yours? I asked, holding up the ring box I'd retrieved earlier, the $5,000 custom diamond. Bought from a guy I used to tutor in college. Still had the receipt. Lena nodded, slowly. Like she already knew where this was headed. I smiled, snapped it shut, and dropped it into my jacket pocket. You'll get it back when I get everything I gave this family, I said. Which is never. So, enjoy the symbolism. Chloe shrieked. You think you're the victim? She hissed. You're just a bitter freeloader with a superiority complex. Then came a voice. Calm. Cool. Cutting. Funny, it said. He's the only one who ever paid for anything. Heads turned. There, standing in the doorway in a dark suit, was Logan, Chloe's ex. Yeah. I called him. Turns out, I wasn't the only one she burned. And he had his own receipts. He stepped forward, handed me an envelope, and spoke just loud enough for the nearest dozen guests to hear. These are screenshots. Proof Chloe doctored texts and voice notes to make you look abusive. She did the same to me. I filed a report last year. Never sent it. He paused, met my eyes. I'm sending it now. Chloe staggered back like she'd taken a bullet. You're ruining everything, she screamed. I looked at her, completely calm. You already did, I said. I'm just airing out the smoke. Then I walked out. No slamming doors. No yelling. No dramatic music. Just me. Logan. And the silence of a room realizing they just watched a myth collapse. That was the last time I stepped into a room with any of them. And from what I heard later, that was the last time anyone looked at Lena's perfect little family the same way again. But here's the thing, silence after a storm isn't peace. It's everyone quietly checking if they're still alive. 2 days later, my phone was on fire. Over 130 missed calls. Facebook was a minefield. Suddenly, long-lost cousins were philosophers. Everyone had an opinion, a theory, a guilt trip. I said nothing. Exactly as planned. Because I was busy. On Monday, I registered a company, Last Minute Guest, LLC. Yep. That exact phrase Aunt Nora used to erase me from the celebration. If I wasn't allowed to be part of their story, I'd build my own and sell tickets. Within a week, I had a website, a YouTube channel, and my first viral video. What happens when the family ATM shuts down? The second one? Even bigger. How to be uninvited and still own the room. 75,000 subscribers in 10 days. Comments flooded in. You told my story. They did this to me too. I didn't know I needed this. I wasn't screaming. I was building. Then came the merch, hoodies, mugs, phone cases. Bestseller? A black hoodie, white text, glad to be part of this. And stitched at the hem in tiny red letters. Until I read the receipts. Sold out in 2 days. I thought that was the peak. It wasn't. The real twist came from someone I didn't expect. Miles. Lena's ex-fiancé now. He messaged me late one night, "Can we talk?" Just us. I braced for a threat. A guilt trip. A warning. Instead, he showed up in person. No ring. Eyes hollow. "I checked everything," he said. "You were right. About all of it." I said nothing. Just listened. "I called off the wedding," he added, voice barely steady. "But there's something else you need to see." He pulled out his phone, tapped a folder in the cloud, and hit play. It was a video. Granny's living room. Chloe and Aunt Nora on the couch, wine glasses in hand. "Chloe, he won't back out. We'll say it's for Mom. If he flips, we say he's unstable. Nora, we still have that college clip, right? The one where he said he wants to disappear? Splice it. Make him sound suicidal." Boom, she added. No credibility. I went still. Miles looked down. "She left her laptop open," he said quietly. "I found the video in a shared folder. She didn't even try to hide it." I couldn't speak. Then he reached into his bag and handed me a small box. The engagement ring. The one I'd bought. "She tried to keep it," he said. "Said it was already a gift. But this belongs to someone with integrity. And that's not her." I didn't thank him. I just nodded. And I knew what I had to do. The next day, I booked an appointment with a real attorney. Not a family friend. Not someone recommended. A litigator. A professional. Someone who wore silence like armor. I laid it all out, the doctored texts, the fake voice clips, the money trail, the secret recordings. He reviewed everything. Then looked me in the eye and said, "We have a case. Defamation. Emotional damages. Financial exploitation. Conspiracy to discredit." I nodded. Then added, "But we don't start in court. Not yet. First, we go public." So I dropped a 3-part docuseries on my channel. Chronological. Surgical. Episode 1, The Payments. Episode 2, The Betrayal. Episode 3, The Plot to Erase Me. The final episode hit 1.2 million views in a week. And then came the book deal. A short memoir. Last-minute guest, how I burned the family myth and built myself from ash. But just when I thought the chapter was closed, a letter arrived. It was handwritten, came from my mom. No subject line. No return address. But I knew what it was about. The video. The scheme. The manipulation. I told myself that as long as I didn't actively join in, I wasn't really involved. But staying quiet is still a choice. And honestly, I was scared. Scared that if you walked away, they'd walk away from me too. But you were the only one who always showed up. Even when they ignored you, you still came around. And now, I'm ashamed of how I acted. I never wrote back. I never forgave. But I did change the closing line in my final video. Just one sentence on a black screen. My mom must have understood. Silence counts as a decision, too. Now, here I am, sitting in my new office. Not doing IT work. Not making content anymore. This space is real. Physical. I opened a co-working studio and a mentorship program for people who've had to walk away from toxic families. The name above the door? That came last. And right beneath it, in small, etched letters, but never again. It took 3 months. 3 months before they realized I was serious. I wasn't coming back. No apologies. No family meeting. No one tried to reach out and fix things. They weren't hoping to heal. They were waiting for me to fold. But I didn't. Instead, I grew the brand. Last Minute Guest turned into more than just a YouTube channel. It became a real platform. I started a podcast. Also called Last Minute Guest. First episode? When Loyalty Becomes Servitude. It hit Apple's top 10 within 2 days. After that, I opened the studio, a glass-fronted workspace in Denver with a sign out front that reads, "Here, we don't apologize for skipping Thanksgiving." And still, the messages trickled in. My cousin Lena sent over a PDF with her side of the story. Aunt Nora DM'd me a grainy selfie with tears and the caption, "Families shouldn't go viral. They should heal." And Chloe, yeah, even her, made a burner TikTok account just to set the record straight. She went so hard on playing the victim that one of her videos actually started trending, until someone dropped a comment that said, "Aren't you the girl who faked DMs to ruin your cousin's life?" That comment got 14,000 likes. She deleted the account the next day. But the real earthquake? That hit on a Wednesday. I was setting up for a guest workshop when my assistant walked in looking pale. "Your dad's outside," she said. I blinked. "What?" And he wasn't alone. I stepped out. There he stood, dressed in a full suit. My mom was with him. And some guy in a dress shirt, maybe a lawyer? PR guy? No clue. My dad walked straight up to me like he owned the place. "You've made your point," he said, cold as stone. "Now take it down." Take what down? The videos. The posts. The brand. All of it. Why? He didn't even blink. Because we're in talks with a publisher. A family memoir. Your name's all over it. And right there, I got it. That's why he came. "Let me guess," I said. "Chapter 1, The Ungrateful Son?" "You think this is funny?" he barked. "You destroyed a legacy." "No," I said. "I just showed people what your legacy really looked like." That's when he leaned in closer, lowered his voice. "You always needed us more than we needed you. Don't forget that." I actually laughed. "For real." "I don't need to forget," I said. "I documented everything. Timestamps and all." He turned to my mom. She wouldn't meet my eyes. And then I did something he never saw coming. I reached into my pocket, pulled out a small silver key. Clean. Shiny. Symbolic. "You remember that mountain house you used to take us to?" His eyes narrowed. "What about it?" "I bought the land right behind it. 2 acres. Built a new fence last week." So, I said, slow and calm, "the only road that leads to your property now runs through mine." He blinked. "That's illegal." "Actually, it's not. It's a private easement. All above board." I smiled. "And I just installed a gate. With a code. That you don't have." They froze. My mom stepped forward, her voice shaking. "Is this really what you want? To destroy the family?" I looked her in the eyes, for the last time. "No," I said. "I just want to stop pretending the fire you lit was ever warmth." Then I turned around and walked back inside. The next day, I made one last post. Not a video. Not a podcast. A full-page ad. In the Sunday paper. Yeah, print. Old school. Black letters on a plain white background. To the people who taught me that silence was safer than truth, thank you. You made me resilient. You made me relentless. You made me the ghost in your story, and I turned that ghost into a bestseller. Once, I was the last-minute guest. Now, I'm the one who turned off the lights and locked the door behind him. Last week, I changed my number. Didn't tell anyone. Walked into my office, grabbed a Sharpie, and wrote something on the back of my old business card. Taped it to the break room wall. In case of emergency, don't call me. I'm not family anymore. And the last thing I did? I donated $10,000 to a scholarship fund for kids who've cut ties with their families. Not under my real name, but under the one I claimed as mine. Last-minute guest. Because sometimes, the person they almost didn't invite ends up being the one who shuts the whole party down.